Welcome everyone, Dylan Gemelli here today with a brand new video for you. Today we're going to talk about the myths of Anavar. Now, just remember, I am not a doctor. I am simply giving you information that I've gathered over the years for your entertainment purposes only. I am not here to tell you to do anything, etc. What you do with this information is completely up to you. I am simply here to entertain. So, and this will be an entertaining video, trust me. Let's talk about some of the myths of Anavar. Now, previously, you guys that have followed me, I've been pretty, adamant about my disdain and dislike for Anavar, but I want to be fair in, describing things, because anytime you're giving out information and teaching people things, you've got to keep personal bias out of it. You can tell people things that you like or your experiences, but you should always try to keep your personal bias out of it, and you should, always give the facts. So I want to tell you about things that are said about Anavar that are simply not true, okay? And I'm even going to say something that I've said in the past that's really not true. The first thing, though, that I want to talk about is that Anavar is some amazing weight loss drug that is going to put you into phenomenal shape. And if you're overweight or, out of condition, you're going to take Anavar and boop, wake up and bam, you're going to be in great condition. Okay? You have just as good a chance of going back in time and go watch the movie Big, watch Tom Hanks, find a Zoltar machine, make a wish to be big, and the next morning wake up and be an adult when you're like in middle school. You've got about the same amount of chance of that as having Anavar turn you into some miraculous beast and make you drop 50 or 60 pounds. Anavar is not a weight loss drug. No steroid is a weight loss drug. Can you lose fat with Anavar? Yes, you can. Can you lose fat with steroids? Yes, you can. But see, when I stress and say that steroids are not fat burners, what I'm saying is when you think of a fat burner, you think of something that you use to drop a lot of weight. And that's not what steroids are used for. And Anavar is certainly not some major weight loss drug. Burning fat and taking a fat burner are two different types of things. So don't get confused when I say that. And it can be confusing. So I wanted to clarify that. Anavar shouldn't, and no steroids should be used by people that are out of condition or overweight. And I'm going to do an entirely different video on the dangers of using steroids at an elevated body fat, and we'll get into that, and you can watch that video and understand what I'm talking about. But let me just explain to you quickly. And, Anavar, if you use Anavar and you're like 50, 60 pounds overweight, don't expect to use Anavar and drop like 30, 40 pounds in a cycle and just turn out to be just wonderful and feeling great, etc. That's not what it's used for. That's not what's going to happen. You have a complete and utter misconception and misunderstanding of the entire drug itself. Now, Anavar can, to dispel certain myths, can help you to rid yourself of troublesome, stubborn fat areas. So if you're on a cycle and you're using it, you've got, for instance, say you're working on a six-pack, you've got the 4, the 2 on the bottom are always difficult, we know that, and naturally it can be extremely hard to do. It's not impossible, but it's a lot more difficult. That could maybe potentially help you to rid yourself of a little excess fat there. And, for guys, they, their obliques and things tend to be their fatty areas. Women kind of in their thighs, and of that nature. That can help you in those areas, maybe. It's not a guarantee, but it could. But it is not a weight loss drug whatsoever. Okay. Number 2 is that Anavar has no side effects. That is completely false. Anavar is more mild than a D-ball, an Anadrol, a Winstrol. That is a fact. And when people say that, that's true. But when people act as though Anavar has no side effects, that is completely false. Anavar is suppressive. Okay, it will suppress your natural testosterone levels, and if you don't run a post-cycle therapy with it, you will regret it, for one. Number 2, okay, Anavar is a toxic methylated oral steroid. It will damage your liver, it will damage your blood pressure, it will damage your kidneys, it will damage your cholesterol. It does require protection. All right, Anavar, while mild in comparison to others, is still an anabolic steroid. It still has side effects, okay? And it shouldn't be taken lightly. So understand that Anavar requires post-cycle therapy and it requires on-cycle protection. Number 3, and this is one that I've said that's wrong. Anavar is really only a women's steroid, okay? A lot of people say that on the forums. A lot of people say that only women benefit from it. It's not calling it weak. It's saying that women just use it better and it's better for them. That's not true. I've seen guys that use it and get quality gains out of it, etc. I don't like Anavar. I'll tell you why I don't like Anavar. I feel that it's far weaker than Winstrol, and I tolerate Winstrol well, and some people don't. And I don't even use these anymore, regardless. But in the past, and the muscle pumps that you can get from Anavar are not worth it to me as a cardio athlete when I get shin pumps and it inhibits my running, and I don't feel that what you get out of it is worth the side effects that you get from it. But that doesn't mean that only women do well with it. Women do extremely well with Anavar. Just like men do extremely well with certain compounds, women do extremely well with certain compounds. And women respond to Anavar extremely well. And being that it's more mild, it's more suitable for a woman. But men can and will and have done well with Anavar. Number 4, you need exorbitant amounts of Anavar to see any results. Not true. Quality Anavar at 60 milligrams a day is more than plenty. I see people saying they want to run 100 and 120 milligrams of Anavar. Completely unnecessary. It is not necessary whatsoever. And for women, 10 to 20 milligrams is more than enough. Don't think that you need too much of that. Any steroid a little bit goes a long way. Some require a little bit heavier dosing than others, but Anavar, you don't need absorbent amounts of Anavar to get results. Next one, that Anavar can be run for 12, 14 weeks at a time, because I see people running it because they believe it's so mild. You shouldn't run any toxic oral steroid more than 6 weeks. 8 weeks is really, really pushing it. It is far too much on you internally, and just because people think that Anavar is a weaker drug or weaker steroid, that they can do that, and it's not a smart decision to make. If you want to preserve your organs internally, that is something that you need to definitely reconsider doing, because it is not a smart thing to do. So just be aware that these misconceptions of Anavar out there, they're not true, okay? And you don't want to be confused on these and fall into those traps. So Anavar is an effective steroid for some, more so than others. It does have side effects. It's not a weight loss drug. Okay, and it's not strictly just for women. Men can use it as well. So those are some of the main key points that were covered in the video that I wanted to cover. So that being said, Dylan at icearms.com for all my email questions. www.icearms.com/forums. Also on the Evolutionary Forum and the Elite Fitness Forum. You can get me there with all questions and comments as well. Check the descriptions below. All my social media links are listed down there, old video links. You don't want to miss out on any information down there. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That being said, stay tuned for plenty more to come. Dylan Gemelli, signing off.